The polished casket sat quietly on the porch until a barefoot boy appeared, pointing at it with trembling fingers. "She's not dead," he said, his voice barely louder than the wind. No one knew who he was, no one believed him. But when the lid opened and something inside moved, everything changed. A baby believed to be gone. A homeless black child silenced and nearly taken by force. What he uncovered would shake a millionaire's world and expose a truth far more unsettling than death itself. Welcome, story lovers. Where are you watching from? Comment your city below. Richard Lane had it all: wealth, success, a family name etched into the city's skyline. Every morning he left his white-columned mansion in a freshly pressed shirt, sipping imported coffee, never once needing to glance back. To him, life was structured, polished, safe. The only others he saw were through tinted car windows, beggars at red lights, or headlines he scrolled past. But that morning was different. A tiny noise outside broke the perfect stillness. The rustling of grass, the faint sound of footsteps. On his porch, he found an unfamiliar boy, barefoot, dirt-smudged, eyes wide with something between fear and urgency. The boy didn't speak at first. He only pointed toward the polished mahogany coffin laid temporarily outside for the private family viewing. Richard's baby girl had died 2 days ago. But what the boy was about to say would crack open a reality Richard never imagined existed. Richard stared at the boy, confused. The child's skin was dark, his shirt torn and faded, shoes missing. His voice trembled as he finally spoke. "She's not dead. The baby. I saw her move." Richard's jaw tightened. Grief turned to rage. Was this some cruel trick? He waved the boy off, but something about the child's trembling hand, still pointing, kept him frozen. Moments later, the boy whispered a name. "Miss Clara, she told me to come." That name stopped Richard cold. Clara had been his family's black housekeeper for decades, until she was fired without explanation a year ago. She had loved his daughter like her own. Now, this boy was claiming she sent him. Richard's wife rushed out, frantic. "Who is this? What's he doing here?" Security was called. But before they could reach the boy, Richard knelt and opened the casket. The baby lay still, too still. But then a twitch. A faint movement of the lips. Emergency services were called immediately. The boy was shoved aside, questioned, and nearly arrested. "Where are your parents?" barked a uniformed officer. "Why are you here?" No one thanked him. No one asked his name. Instead, he was treated like a suspect, as if saving a life wasn't enough to prove he belonged. Richard, watching from the porch, felt the weight of it, how this child's courage was being buried under the color of his skin. And then came the knock on the door. Miss Clara had arrived. Miss Clara stepped onto the porch, her eyes locked on Richard, not with fear, but quiet defiance. "He saved your daughter," she said, voice trembling, "because the hospital never checked. They assumed she was gone. Just like they assume kids like him don't matter." The officers ignored her. One grabbed the boy's wrist roughly, pulling him toward the patrol car.
He cried out, but not in pain. "Please, don't let them take me."
"I just wanted to help." Richard snapped. "Let him go," he shouted, storming forward. But it was too late. The boy had vanished behind tinted glass, eyes wide and silent. The very system that failed his daughter was now swallowing the child who saved her. And Richard, for the first time, realized he wasn't in control. Dear audience, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to give it a like, it really helps. Richard pulled every string he had to find the boy. It took days, calls, favors, digging through a system built to forget kids like him. When he finally found him, the boy was silent, his trust fractured. Richard didn't just bring him home, he brought him into his life. But something inside Richard had cracked open, the brutal awareness that justice isn't blind, it's selective. His daughter was alive because of a child society would rather erase. And that truth haunted him more than any grief ever could. This wasn't just about one baby or one boy, it was about who we value and who we ignore. How many more heroes will we overlook before we start seeing clearly? Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel for more powerful stories and new videos.